Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. I'm your host, Ringo. We're back again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Pretty much what we're talking about is this FBA family. An entire family arrested. That's right. An entire family arrested pretty much after having Diddy freak-offs with their disabled daughter. That's right. You know, we try to make you aware of these crimes, of these issues that's going on in the Black community that nobody want to talk about because, again, it shines a dark shadow on what goes on behind closed doors. Now, I talked about the Black guy that unalived his girlfriend, who was pregnant, by the way, and he tossed the 2-year-old off the bridge. We talked about that. We talked about the pastor who did the unthinkable to his own daughter multiple times. And after she gave birth, he broke into her house and sodomized her brutally. We talked about, all sorts of stories, guys. Now it brings us to this one. Now, I told y'all the other day that I was going to do a video about something that's diabolical. Well, this is it. An entire FBA family, the entire family arrested after the daughter was impregnated. And they couldn't find out if it's the father, is it the son? Everybody was involved. Let's take a look at the news story, and then we're going to pretty much come back with some commentary. So I hope everybody's having a blessed day. Hope you're driving safe on the road, that you're at peace. Let's get to the content.
Oklahoma County prosecutors charge Metro parents for not protecting their intellectually disabled daughter from sexual abuse. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Carl Torp.
And I'm Amanda Taylor. The victim recently gave birth. The police investigation revealing the alleged abuser to be the victim's brother. News 9's crime tracker Jennifer Pierce live at the Oklahoma County Jail, where the sibling remains in custody at this hour. Jen?
Amanda, the victim's brother, is being held on 1 count of incest. Her parents were taken into custody for child neglect. They have since posted bail and were released.
What's up?
One by one.
Mom! Mom! Hold on, just relax. Mom! Just relax, Nathaniel.
Police took 3 family members into custody from their home in the village this week.
I gotta arrest someone.
Yeah, you're Tamika, right?
Ow!
Just turn around for me, okay?
I'm trying to ask how.
The village police investigation started in July when DHS notified officers an intellectually disabled 18-year-old gave birth. Authorities could not determine who fathered the child. The teen and her mother, Tamika Molden, claimed a boyfriend was the baby's father. Police say the victim also told a DHS worker her father, Nathaniel Molden Sr., was the father.
Collected both DNA from the male members of the household, and it was confirmed through DNA testing at the OSBI to match the brother.
Court documents indicate Nathaniel Molden Jr. admitted to having inappropriate contact with his sister 2 years prior to the birth of the baby. Molden says he and his sister have been caught by their parents and punished. Police say the Moldens never reported the abuse to authorities before or after their daughter became pregnant.
Part of the reason charges were filed on the parents was because there was no intervention to prevent any type of improper actions towards this child at the time who couldn't fend for herself.
And police say they initially suspected the father to be the abuser. Court documents say the father searched how to corrupt a DNA test and if siblings have the same DNA. Live at the Oklahoma County Detention Center, Jennifer Pierce, Oklahoma's own News 9.
So, ladies and gentlemen, based on that story, very, very chilling, this is what goes on in the community that people don't want to talk about. They don't want to address these issues. So the whole time the family was trying to cover up incest, sexual assaults on a disabled young lady. Could you believe that, guy? And this is going on in the black community. You see? But I'm the coon because I talk about the story. Make that make sense? These are real stories, real victims, real criminals. But because they're black, when I address these topics, black people get upset with me. I don't understand how you getting upset with me. I didn't commit no crime. You have a father who's supposed to be protecting his daughter. Instead, he's looking up on how to corrupt a DNA test, how to, avoid getting caught. Now, we all know the father was touching her too, like father, like son. And we know mama knew about it the whole time, but nobody cared because nobody cared about the daughter. And I'm sure they were collecting money from her. Because you know how it is in the black community. They always collecting money off the children, whether it be through welfare, whether it's some disability and they collect some sort of SSI, something. They collect money off them kids. And this young lady was being tortured and abused and violated by the brother every night, and possibly the father, because if he was out there trying to figure out how to avoid getting caught, that means that he was doing it too. It's just so happened that the brother was the one that impregnated the sister, but I can guarantee you the father was also molesting his daughter. They all was doing it, guys. This young lady, disabled, cannot fend for herself, right? Cannot tell nobody nothing. Was just sitting there taking it while these demons, these animals, were doing these diabolical things to her body. But people get mad at me for sharing the news. People get mad at me when I go live and address the topics because they're black. They want to hear about what white people are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a viewer of YouTube, if you consume content and the only kind of content you're interested in is if you hear stories about white people doing crimes, then you're sick. You're sick. You're a sick person. If you get up in the morning and you want to view content that only talks about white people and what they're doing that's negative or wrong, you're a sick person. Because we got problems in the black community, major problems that we don't address. We just avoid it. We don't want to talk about it. The FBA community is silent on all these matters. How many more victims? How many more crimes will black men commit against women? Come on now. How many more crimes? See, if I talk about a story with a white man that killed the black woman, everybody's there, everybody's supporting, everybody's clicking the like button. When I do topics like this, nobody clicked the like button. I don't get it, fam. I guess the like button must be a valuable button because nobody wants to click it when truth comes in. But when we post a video of a black woman twerking or some sort of mess, you click the button. You'll click it on the white man's channel. Half of you brothers, if you go to a black woman channel and she shows some cleavage, oh, you'll click that like button because I see you simps all the time. Matter of fact, if you're a woman and you want to get it popping on social media, just show some breasts. These suckers will support you because that's how much of a loser they are. You know, you could be a black man and stand for truth, speak wisdom, share the topics that matter. No support whatsoever from your own people. None. You could show them what's going on in the community so that we can improve as black men. They don't want to hear that. You know why? Because the black man failed the community. This young lady had a father and a brother and still wasn't protected. A father and a brother. Don't we always say, oh, you know, these kids are being raised in these households. Where are the fathers? Well, she had a father and she had a brother. Normally, when you're a young lady and you got a father and a brother, both of them supposed to be protecting you, None of the boys in the neighborhood supposed to be disrespecting you, because they're going to have problems with your father, and they definitely going to have problems with your brother. Those of you who have those protective brothers that would beat somebody up, you know what I'm talking about. For you ladies that got 3, 4, 5 brothers, you're the only sister. You already know what it is. You're protected. If you come from a good home, your brothers don't play. As soon as you go outside and something happened, they be like, what? Who said what to you? What? All the brothers gather up and they go take care of that business. You know, not nothing illegal, but they'll go put the fear of God in somebody real quick. Well, this brother wasn't protecting his sister. He had Diddy parties with his sister. The family had Diddy parties, guys. They had freak-offs with the daughter. You would think mama would protect her own child. No, she didn't care. And she knew that the husband was in the room touching her, because that's how it be in a lot of black homes. Daddy goes into the room when mama's sleeping, sometimes when mama awake, and sneak in the room and touch the daughter. That's what goes on, guys. But not only daddy, the brother was doing the same, to the point where she got pregnant. That just goes to show how many times she been violated, guys. Listen to the story.
Oklahoma County prosecutors charge Metro parents for not protecting their intellectually disabled daughter from sexual abuse.
Disabled daughter. A disabled child, bro. These evildoers did this, guys. Not the white man, not the Klan, not some hillbilly with a pickup truck saying, let's go get some ninjas and put them on a tree. No. The black father and the black son did these evil acts. They did it.
Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Carl Torp.
And I'm Amanda Taylor. The victim recently gave birth. The police investigation revealing the alleged abuser to be the victim's brother.
The brother. Imagine this, guys. And she gave birth. She gave birth. Think about this, guys. Think about how many times she may have gotten pregnant. And they, did things to avoid pregnancy, but this time she got pregnant. Could it have been that the parents wanted grandkids and wanted to keep it all in the family? Real sick people.
News 9's Crime Tracker Jennifer Pierce live at the Oklahoma County Jail, where the sibling remains in custody at this hour. Jen?
Amanda, the victim's brother, is being held on 1 count of incest.
Incest. This is what's going on in the black community right now, guys. And a lot of black women are silent on it. They're quiet. They're quiet on it because they suffer in silence, where they got violated by family members, brothers, cousins, and they stay quiet. And it's been going on for years. A lot of black women have these stories, guys. It's just that they just don't want to talk about it. They don't want to relive the pain. They just don't. But a lot of them, guys, if you take 100 black women and put them in a room and have real talk conversations, they will tell you, oh yeah, I was touched by my uncle. I was touched by my cousin. That's right. Yeah. And sometimes by a woman. It's not always by a male. Sometimes your auntie can play around with you when you're a kid. And these type of stories go on. They happen in the black community. Young ladies are going through these things right now. There are victims right now that are going through this right now. The father is molesting his daughter. The brother is molesting his sister. It's happening right now in the black community. And the FBA community don't talk about it. Instead, they talk about white people all day. They want to create a race war. If you're in the black community, you're supposed to be concerned about black issues, the things we go through, the things we deal with. You understand? Because the white man don't live in your community. He's not putting the drugs in your community, right? He's not the one shooting the guns. It's the so-called black man who's supposed to be protecting you. In every predominantly black community, black men should be protecting the community from crime and violence, but they're not, because they're a part of it. Why do we have gangs in the black community? Why these OGs in the black community ain't cleaning up shop? Instead, they keep talking about how much of an OG they are, but they ain't doing a damn thing in the community. Why is it that these young ninjas are out here terrorizing the community, but we want to talk about white people and racism? No, we got terrorism in the black community that nobody wants to address. Why? Because it's not popular. When we hear topics on this, we hate the people who talk about it. You hate me because I talk about it. Some of you blood is boiling because I'm talking about real issues. You live in these communities. You see what goes on. You see the drug dealers. You see the gangbangers. You see the thugs. They're there every day. Some of you ladies go to work, come home, the thugs are hanging all around the place like a bunch of damn stray dogs, and you're tired of it. You see it every day, and you're disgusted by it. You know, these are supposed to be black men protecting these women, but they're not doing a damn thing. Instead, they're violating them. And this family violated a disabled young lady. Not a lady who's able, but disabled. Not able to fend for herself, disabled, which means she needs their help. She needs their help. And one thing I learned about social media is nobody want to hear the truth, guys. Would you know, guys, and I'm going to redo the video. Do you know, guys, that the video that I did about R. Kelly, right, where I broke down the case and proved that he was set up, do you know that video was blocked worldwide? Remember when it was re-uploaded, it looked like it was good? Well, I went through the process of countering the claim, and it was rejected. The claim was rejected, guys. So it's blocked worldwide. Now, I can go ahead and file a counter notice through YouTube to get it restored, but I decided I'm not going to waste my time, because what I did is I did some research on YouTube, and I noticed that all these other content creators can use that very same video with R. Kelly, but I'm the only one that can't, because I spoke the truth. I spoke the truth by breaking it down that he was set up. He was set up to look like he's some sort of weirdo, and the powers that be don't want it to air. For some reason, they blocked it worldwide. No copyright. They just said it's blocked worldwide. But when you go on other YouTube channels, other people are reacting to the same video. And you know what? In my investigation, all the other channels that actually investigate or that reacted to it is because they are siding with what you call it, the media and the powers that be. You know, that's what they're doing. They're basically saying that they're saying the same things that the powers that be want. So what YouTube does is they reward channels that promote the same agenda. In other words, if you're a content creator and you're speaking against R. Kelly, they will let you rock because you're helping to shape public opinion. You know? That's pretty much what they're doing. So when I see how I get railroaded and have all of these issues, it's not because I'm doing something wrong. The issue is that I'm not going along with the agenda. You see? Because in my video with R. Kelly, I broke down how he's being railroaded and set up. And I broke down how the young ladies that was with him, they lied. And then the powers that be paid them, gave them careers. If you go look at the same woman, because I'm going to do a ton of videos on the R. Kelly case. Now that I know that the powers that be is upset and they don't want to hear the truth, now I'm just going to speak the truth without using their videos. Because I could easily go fight the case, but I'm not going to waste my time. There's certain things that you just don't waste your time with. Instead, just turn up the heat on the topic. That's it. And annoy the system by speaking on it truthfully. See, when you're a black man and you stand for truth, you won't get no support from the people. The people won't support you because they love the evil. You understand? Black people hate me because I speak the truth. They hate me with a passion. They want me to die because I speak the truth. They want me to talk about white people. I showed y'all all the receipts. I showed y'all videos of people saying, it would be good if you just talk about white people sometime because I want to hear about white people. And I'm like, why would you want to hear about white people when you got problems in your community? You got problems in your community that you won't even solve, but you want to hear about what white people are doing to black people? What kind of sick fetish you got? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you what black people are doing. And what I'm going to prove to you is how the FBA community is full of ish, because they're not talking about these issues. They want to focus on making you become a racist like them. They want to focus on issues that don't affect you. The white man is not in your community doing anything to you. He's not selling the drugs. He's not shooting the people. He's not lynching nobody. You understand? What's going on in your community are black issues, black on black crime. You have a lot of young ladies that are in these houses where their fathers are molesting them. A lot of these pregnancies that you see happening in the black community is not even some dating relationship. A lot of it is incest. A lot of it is a brother that been intimate with his own sister for years, and sometimes the parents don't even know what's going on. And this happens every single day. And in the black community, they don't talk about these issues, because they want to appear perfect to everybody else. They don't want to talk about the animals. They don't want to talk about the savages, the drug dealers, the criminality. They don't want to talk about that. The only thing we want to talk about is free Tyrone. Free my man so-and-so that just went to the pen. The only thing a black man can talk about is when they go to prison and they feel as if though they graduated from college. Have you ever noticed that, ladies? Black men pride themselves with going to prison and coming out of prison, thinking they got some sort of street rep because they came out of prison. Half of these brothers, when they come out of prison, done got their damn tail violated while they were in prison. They were somebody's woman when they were in prison. They were washing someone's drawers when they were in prison. But when they come out, they act more like they gangster. They don't like to deal with the reality of the truth. You understand? Going to prison is not a flex. Going to prison doesn't make you more of a man. How about getting an education, black man? How about protecting your damn community? How about doing that? You got all of these fake content creators always talking about unity and doing this and doing that, and they ain't doing a damn thing but taking your money. That's all they doing. Taking your money and feeding you up with a bunch of fear, a bunch of doom and gloom, a bunch of garbage. They don't care about you. They don't care about the real issues, and they definitely don't care about the victims.
Her parents were taken into custody for child neglect. They have since posted bail and were released.
They don't need bail. They need to stay in prison. They need to stay in prison. How you going to post bail? How could there be bail for a family that was violating a disabled kid? A disabled young lady was getting violated by the father and the so-called son. It's just that the son was the one that impregnated the daughter. So they couldn't really do nothing to the father, but they suspected that the father was doing something. And he was. Why? Because he was on the internet searching how to tamper with the evidence, guys. Why would the father do that?
What's up?
One by one.
Mom! Mom!
Hold on, just relax.
He crying for his damn mother. Crying for mama. No, it's too late to cry. Too late. It's too late to apologize.
Mom!
Just relax, Nathaniel.
Police took 3 family members into custody from their home in the village this week.
I gotta arrest someone.
Yes, you getting arrested because you're evil.
You're Tamika, right?
Ow!
Just turn around for me, okay?
I'm trying to ask how.
The village police investigation started in July when DHS notified officers an intellectually disabled 18-year-old gave birth.
18-year-old. Disabled 18-year-old. Think about how many years they were doing this, guys. Think about how many years the temptation was there. A disabled young lady can't fend for herself, and she's in this house of horrors with these ninjas, these savages. Now think about it. A disabled young lady needs to shower, right or wrong. So think about what these sick animals were doing in that house. We know that they violated her sexually, but think about where the sickness started from. Think about the times where she had to go shower and these animals would be in the bathroom touching her. Think about it, because I guarantee you mama wasn't the one doing all the work. These evil animals were in the bathroom while this disabled young lady was showering, bro. And they were in there doing God knows what for years, to the point where this animal brother impregnated his own sister. And these ninjas on social media is mad at me because I cover these topics. I cover the topics nobody talk about. I cover the topics that are touchy. You know why? Because it's a reflection of what goes on in the real world. And we don't have no time to be talking about other races of people when we got these kind of demons in the black community. And there's many more.
Authorities could not determine who fathered the child.
They couldn't determine who fathered the child. They couldn't determine. They couldn't determine who fathered the child. They tried to blame it on some boyfriend. Could you believe that, guys? The father, the mama, and the brother tried to say that the disabled daughter had a boyfriend. How she had a boyfriend? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, boyfriend? She didn't have no boyfriend. She couldn't fend for herself. But this is what they did, guys.
The teen and her mother, Tamika Molden, claimed a boyfriend was the baby's father.
Do you see that? They lied. They knew that the father and the brother was sexually assaulting the daughter. They knew. The mama covered for them, man.
Police say the victim also told a DHS worker her father, Nathaniel Molden Sr., was the father.
Do you see that? Did you catch that, guys? Listen to this, guys. Listen to the tape.
Her father, Nathaniel Molden, father.
Listen again.
Police say the victim also told a DHS worker.
The victim told the DH worker what?
Her father, Nathaniel Molden Sr., was the father.
Why would the victim say that? Because the father was his own daughter, fam. His own daughter he was. That's sick. The father was doing this to his own daughter. But it's the brother that got her pregnant. Both of them was doing it, guys. I don't want y'all, listen, the news media focused on the brother impregnating his sister. But really, it was both the father and the brother doing it. They were both. Because why would the victim say, my daddy's the father. She didn't know who the father was. But she picked the daddy because the daddy was doing it the most. The daddy was probably the one that started it. And then he told the son, he said, come on, boy, come on, son, come in the room. What do you want, dad? Come on in the room, son. Look at this now. Let me show you what you do now. But that's my sister. It doesn't matter, young boy. You come on in that room and do this thing here now. Wow, daddy, this feels really good. I didn't know we could do this. Yeah, we could do this. We could have fun. And they did this every night, guys. Sick. These sick animals. And the FBA community have nothing to say about it. Instead, they get mad at me for reporting the news. They get offended with me because of my commentary. When all I'm doing is bringing awareness to the truth of what goes on. And how many other young ladies and even young boys that are disabled, that are going through this kind of abuse by their fathers and their brothers. There are many stories like this, guys, of fathers sodomizing their sons that are disabled. The boy can't even move. The boy can't do nothing. Some of these are special needs. They can't do nothing. They don't even know what's going on. And they're being abused in these houses of horrors. But when we see melanated skin, we automatically be like, oh yeah, those are my brothers and sisters. You know, we're the black community and we just all love each other. Yeah, okay, whatever you say. Whatever you say. These people are diabolical, bro. This young lady was tortured, violated for years, and the FBA community is silent.
Collected both DNA from the male members of the household, and it was confirmed through DNA testing at the OSBI to match the brother.
See, they got some DNA, but the DNA was enough to match the brother. You see that? Why? Because he was the last one to violate her, guys. He was the last one, so they were able to gather his DNA. The father was able to, I guess, avoid other charges. But he was also guilty, guys. Make no mistake. He was doing it too.
Documents indicate Nathaniel Molden Jr. admitted to having inappropriate contact with his sister 2 years prior to the birth of the baby.
2 years prior. You know it's more than that, right? You know it's more than that, guys. It didn't just happen 2 years prior. This has been going on for a long time. A long time. This young lady had to endure night after night after night of this type of abuse. And nobody was there to save her.
Molden says he and his sister have been caught by their parents and punished. Police say the Moldens never reported the abuse to authorities before or after their daughter became pregnant.
They never reported it. They covered it up, guys. They covered it up. Why? Why didn't they just report it? Because they all were guilty. They all, listen, if the father was innocent and the mother was innocent, they would have reported the son. He would have got arrested. They would have did what they had to do. But no, they let the baby come to term. Because why? These animals wanted a grandkid, a grandson, a granddaughter. This is how sick it be, fam. Some of these areas where you think your neighbors are just good old decent people and you don't know what's going on in that house. That's why I don't talk to nobody unless I'm spoken to. You know what I mean? That's how I move. And I ain't going in your house. Nope. I don't play those games because you ain't coming in my house. Don't let nobody in your house, fam. Those are the rules. Don't let nobody in your house. If you live in a community, don't let nobody in your house. No company. Nope. Off limits. Don't let their demons come in your house because they come in and they start sizing up what you got in your house, looking at what you live, how you live, what, all this other stuff. And no, don't let them in. But you don't know what's going on next door to you. You can see smiles, but you don't know about the abuse, the torture. I mean, just in New York, out there in Manhattan somewhere, I'm not sure exactly which part, you had some Bitcoin, whatever, some CEO or some entrepreneur, I'm not sure. He was trapped in some luxury apartment house, brownstone out there where they paying $75,000 a month. And they said he was being tortured for 2 weeks. They were torturing him and beating him up so they could get money from his fortune. And this was happening in a brownstone where the rent is $75,000 a month. Now you think about it, you paying $75,000 a month. First of all, you got to be ultra rich to be spending $75,000 a month. But guess what? If you look at the neighboring businesses near it, you would never know that somebody was in there being tortured. You see that? So you don't know what's going on where you live. You never know. You can see your neighbor, they wave at you, hey neighbor, how you doing? And everything looks cool. But in the basement, in the attic somewhere, they got the kid tied up doing evil acts every night, sometimes bringing their buddies over to have some fun. You never know what's going on around you guys. That's why you have to keep your eyes open, look for the small details that just don't add up. You know, sometimes your sixth sense tell you things. Your intuition, it tells you like, wait a minute, man, my neighbor look like they tweaking, bro. Something ain't right. Let me leave that person alone. I don't got nothing to say. Some of you are like that. Some of you, certain neighbors, you never talk to them. You just know they got demons and you avoid them like the plague, you know? But sometimes you got to look out for the cries for help. Sometimes you might see a family walking, and when you look at the kids, you look at the daughter or whatever, and you know, they just look like sad, like damn, like what happened to them? Something's going on, you know?
Part of the reason charges were filed on the parents was because there was no intervention to prevent any type of improper actions towards this child at the time who couldn't fend for herself.
Couldn't fend for herself, and the parents didn't intervene. So they got to go too, because that means that they were a part of it. They were a part of these acts. They got to go. They should have never got bail. You know? None of them. The death penalty should be in place here. Once you do stuff like this evil, you're supposed to be put to death. I don't care. No mercy. No mercy. Any man that would violate a young lady against her will, especially if she's special needs, disabled, or whatever the case is, you deserve death. No court case, no trial, no hearing, death. That's it. Let's just put them to death. Case closed. We don't need them in prison because those animals, when they go to prison, now the evil continues. You got to kill the evil. Take them out. That's it.
And police say they initially suspected the father to be the abuser. Court documents say the father searched how to corrupt a DNA test.
How to corrupt a DNA test. Why would the father search how to corrupt a DNA test? Please explain that to me, ladies and gentlemen of the court. You good people are members of the court. You're hearing the case. How could the father be a good daddy that protects his baby if he's searching online how to corrupt a DNA test? That's because he's trying to cover his tracks. He wasn't trying to protect his son. Oh, no. He was trying to protect himself because he was touching his own daughter. And there are a lot of fathers that do this. In the corner, in the back, in the booth, in the dark, in the shadows. They do these things, guys. Happens every day in the black community. And guess what? The FBA community is silent. You won't see them touch these topics. Nope. Even the brother Chase, the black so-called homeowner that gunned down the teens that was playing the ding-dong prank. If you notice, the FBA community is silent on the matter. You know why? You can't defend a man that's not permitted to have a firearm. They know that. So they just avoid the topic. See, if he was legit, then they'll go ahead and defend him. But if you notice, no one has no interest in the truth. I brought out the truth. They were so busy talking about, oh, but it was 3 a.m. Who's knocking somebody's door at 3 a.m.? Anybody can knock your door at 3 a.m. I don't know if you realize that, but anybody can knock your door at 3 a.m. That doesn't mean you take your gun and start shooting. Amazon workers deliver at 3 a.m. I don't know if any of you know that, but it happens all the time over here. I'll see them pull into the driveway and deliver. Sometimes you might have a weirdo that walk on your driveway, ring your bell, or just look at your door and then go walk away. Does that mean I come outside with a gun and start shooting? No, that's how I would go to jail. Why? Because I'm not following the proper rules. You don't just open up your door and start shooting people. Having the right to bear arms does not mean you could kill people because they're on your property. You folks got to really study the law and understand what is your rights. Because I noticed that black folk are the only ones that feel because they own a gun that it mean they could just start shooting people. You just can't do that. A life is still a life. And there are ways to avoid killing somebody by having a warning. There's warnings where you give people, there's certain verbal communications before you resort to deadly force. But again, when you deal with these type of situations, this is what you got. You got people that just come in and pretty much start shooting people and don't even know what's going on. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense at all, but this is what you're going to deal with. People that do these type of things. You know, they won't cover those topics. Why? Because they know that they can't defend a man that don't have his proper paperwork. The man was a felon. He wasn't even supposed to have a gun, guys. He wasn't even supposed to have a gun. He opened his door and he started shooting out into the community. Bullets flying all over the place. Those bullets could have injured other people. You see? And when you see trolls coming into my live chat, those trolls are pedophiles. Those are sick people, guys. Very, very sick individuals. These are the individuals in the black community, sick weirdos that follow me around every day. They don't got no life, guys. Sick people projecting their evil. They don't care about the story. What they care about is distracting you with BS. They don't care that a young lady was molested and violated and impregnated. They don't care. When I tell you, the black community do not care about black on black crime. That's why there's so much crime. Because nobody's doing nothing to solve it. We're waiting for white people to solve it. We're waiting for Trump to solve it. We keep complaining about all the other nations and racism when we got our own racism in the black community. All of your enemies are black. If you're a black man, black woman right now at the sound of my voice, you know damn well what I'm talking about is the truth. All your enemies are black. All of them. All of them are black. And you don't speak on it because you want to appear as if though everything is good. So what we tend to do is we listen to content creators that influence us to focus on racism. I don't got no time to be focusing on no white man when black folk are my enemies. They're the ones that don't show me no love. The black community don't show no love to me. None. I get hated by them daily. Not the white people, not the white man, not the white community. Now, that doesn't mean white people aren't racist. You got a lot of racists, but I don't care about what they're doing because I don't interact. I don't hang with them. I keep my distance. That's it. You understand? They got their own thing going. That's their business. I got a family to take care of. I don't got no time to be up in everybody's business. Hey, neighbor, how you doing? Cool, cool, cool. That's it. Bye. That's it. I'm not all up in your Kool-Aid. I don't want to visit. I don't want to hang there. I don't want to do nothing. I want to stay in my own zone, my own lane, do my own thing. That's it. I ain't trying to get to know everybody. I don't want to know your Uncle Bubba. I don't want to know nobody because that's how drama starts. Once you start interacting with all different type of people, drama always starts. Learn how to just be by yourself, do your own thing, and keep that distance. Once you start interacting with everybody, drama starts. All of a sudden, your neighbor says, oh, my daughter said you touched her. What? She said you were touching her or you lift her up and she felt like, now that's where it starts. Then all of a sudden the police is called. Then other neighbors are hearing the gossip. And then before you know it, people are looking at you weird. Bro, stay to yourself. Stay to yourself. And don't have your kids around other people. Don't let your kids go by other neighbors. Don't let them do that. Keep your kids in the house. If your kids go outside to play, make sure you're outside too to monitor what's going on. But don't leave your kids just kind of just doing their thing because that's when they get violated by neighbors. Going in a neighbor house and a neighbor touch your kid and then your kid comes out the house scared and they come home and they don't tell you nothing. And then it start happening over and over and over. You don't even know your next door neighbor is touching your kid and you don't even know. You have no clue. And then when you find out, then what's happened? You end up going over there and you kill your neighbor. And then you get charged with murder. Even though you felt you were doing the right thing, now you end up losing your freedom. This is why you have to make sure that you maintain your role as a mother, as a father, and do your job. Unfortunately, for this young lady, her own father and brother didn't do their job. Instead, they were having Diddy parties, freak-offs with the oil with a young lady that couldn't even fend for herself. And the FBA community is silent on the matter. They have no solutions to these problems. Nothing. The first solution is you have to talk about these issues. You got to talk about them because they're happening every day. A lot of ladies that are viewing this live been molested, SA'd by family members, next door neighbors, uncles, brothers, cousins, and they got their stories. A lot of them got stories, guys. They got stories that if you were to sit down and hear their stories, man, you'd be like, are you serious? Yes. Yes, they got these stories. And they, they're grown. They're grown women now. So it's like they try to move on. But they got these stories of being touched, played with, adults telling them to do things with their mouth. And It's horrible. Some of these things that they've been through. So when we look at these stories, we got to bring awareness to this issue because this is happening every single day. And there's a lot of victims, including boys. It's a lot of young boys that are being molested right now by their father, by an uncle, by a big cousin who comes over, and you thinking the cousins, they're cool. And when they're in the room, he greasing up the young boy or making the young boy do weirdo things. And you thinking that he's a role model, but no, you got to really watch these kids. Y'all remember that game back in the day called House? You remember that game? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember the game called House, where y'all used to play this game. Well, I'm the mommy. Well, I'm the daddy. Y'all all know what I'm talking about because y'all all play that game. Yes, you did. You played the game called House. You know what I'm talking about. With your cousins, with your brothers and sisters, y'all all played the game called House. So don't act like you're so damn holier than thou. Hypocrites. All the people who won't put a 1, you're a hypocrite because you know what you were doing. You played those games. And in those games, you had to do certain things. And see, this is why as parents, you got to watch your kids. Because if you don't watch them, the devil will. The devil will watch your kids. You know, an idle child, an idle mind, they say, is the devil's playground. You know? And you have to watch your children when they play with other kids in the community. That's something that I monitor. I don't want my kids playing with everybody else's kids. I'm just being honest. And if you're in this community and you watch me on social media, I don't want my kids playing with your damn kids. So let that be known. Spread that in the community because I don't give 2 Fs. Because one thing I learned, ladies and gentlemen, is this. When you let your kids play with other people's kids, that's when your kids get caught up in different things and you wondering what the heck going on. Because you let your child run off with them kids from down the street. Next minute, your child is doing some weirdo stuff. Or you got the young boys playing around with your daughter. The next minute, they violate your daughter. They grape your daughter. You're wondering what happened to your daughter. Your daughter got graped. Your daughter got graped by 3 boys in your community. Now you're going to get your gun and kill people. Because I would. If I heard some nonsense like that with my girls, I'm killing your kids. I'm just telling you straight. You could call the cops. You could arrest me. I really don't care. I'm taking your kids out and I'm taking you out. Because that right there is a no-no. I don't mind serving prison time for that. I'm taking you out. You ain't going to violate my kids and live. I'm just telling you straight. So when I look at this situation with this kid here and his pop violated the daughter and they still alive, I don't understand that. I don't understand why they got bail. It don't make no damn sense. It don't make no sense that these animals violated and impregnated the 18-year-old and now she gave birth. So now the child is alive. Now think about this, guys. A child is alive. Okay, who's the father? Oh, my brother. What kind of sickness is this? A child is going to be in a world where their daddy is their sister's brother. So when they become an adult, that's the news. Yo, who's your daddy? Oh, my sister's brother. Come on, man. You what? Your what? Your sister's brother is your father? What are you, a weirdo? Now the kid got to grow through this as they age. They got to deal with this trauma. They got to deal with this now. That's sick. So guys, make sure you take this advice. Be very careful in your community because if this is happening in a household where you have a father who's supposed to be protecting his family, and then you have a son who's supposed to be protecting his sister. See, if you're a young man and you got sisters, your job, I don't know if you know this, maybe you're a knucklehead and you don't, but if you got sisters, right, your job as a brother is to protect your sisters at all costs. That's your job. I don't know if anybody told you. Your job is to protect your sisters. Now, the way you protect your sisters is you got to school them. If you're the older brother, your job is to tell your sisters the truth about these young men. Why? Because you're a young man yourself. So your job is to school her and say, look, These young boys out here, you know what time it is. You got to be careful. Don't do this. Don't get in no boy face. You got to get them the word, the truth, right? If she get out of line and do something dumb, you can't protect that garbage. But if she's on the straight and narrow path and some young man get out of pocket, your job is to protect your sister. That's your job, especially if your father's at work. Now, the dad, we all know a dad is supposed to protect his daughter at all costs. But these two men were not protecting the daughter. They were having sex with her. They were having freak-offs with her. You only gonna get this real talk, fam, on Ringo TV reactions, guys. All these other channels are bought and paid for. They're all Fed operated. You understand? They can't be real like me. They gotta have filters on them. Everything gotta be politically correct. I'm just speaking the truth raw, because there's no time to play. There's no time to sugarcoat. You know? Real victims are out there. Real people are suffering. So just because a father is in the home does not necessarily mean everything is good. Just because you got brothers doesn't mean they good. Because as we can see here, these two didn't care about that young lady. And now she got to raise a baby and tell the baby the truth, that your father is my brother. That's sad. And I know the father was getting it in with his own daughter. I know he was, guys. There's no way. There is no way that he didn't know and wasn't participating. And the mother knew too. And what's so sad is family probably came over the house to visit and nobody could pick up on the signs. Nobody could pick up on the signs that the young lady was being violated for years. You know? That's why if you're family members and you go to your relative's house, sometimes you got to keep your eyes open and look for clues, look for red flags. Because sometimes the red flags be there, you know? And also when your kids go to school, you got to teach your kids to make sure they tell you if a teacher touched them. Because now in schools, teachers are touching kids. You know? Teachers are molesting kids now. So you have to also educate them on that too. Because I'll go to the school too and take the teacher down too. I don't care. I'll go to prison. I don't mind. You F around my kids, I'm taking you out. You could clip this tape. It's going down. I'm not playing with that mess. You understand? This young lady couldn't even say no. She dealt with this every night. Every night. And I guarantee you this family's Christian. They always are. I can guarantee you mama's a Christian, believes in Jesus. And the whole time after church, this is what they're doing. It's sick, man. So the problems that we got in the black community, we need to address these. And the FBA community won't address them. You only can find them on Ringo TV Reactions. We're the only channel that address real issues, real topics. We're at the front line, addressing real issues that affect people daily. You know, one of the next things I'm going to do, guys, is, now listen to me carefully, guys. I have to reprogram your mind. I said, I have to reprogram your mind because a lot of you have been poisoned by content creators and influencers on social media to live a life of fear, anxiety, and stress. So what I'm going to be doing is a lot of videos where we reprogram your thought patterns to not think negative, to not worry, to not live in fear, because a lot of you have been consuming doom and gloom and misery and pain and suffering content, and content that is always telling you about how bad it is and how bad your life is going to be because of the economy, and you know there's going to be a food shortage. All that type of commentary is poison. It's toxic. You don't need to listen to that junk. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down, meaning I'm going to take you through these kind of videos to show you how content creators are being used by the devil and how they run the numbers up by keeping you dumbed down and docile and full of fear. And they never have solutions for you, ever. They never have a solution. They always tell you about how horrible it is to live and how you're suffering. And that's how they make their money, by keeping you down. You know what I mean? And it's just sick, man. Absolutely sick. I mean, just look at a troll in the comments, guys. You see the trolls that come in? When you see these type of people, that's what happens when you speak the truth. Now you have to think about this. What person has time to waste their time over and over and doing that nonsense? You don't see me doing that. I don't be on nobody's platform in their live chat doing dumb stuff like that. Those are sick people. Here I'm talking about real issues. They're distracting you. You know why? They don't want you to hear the truth. And you have to think about, that person is black. That's a black person, a ninja, a savage, a devil. Those are the devils that you see in the black community every day. And they hate people like me because I'm revealing the truth, exposing the demons of who they really are. A lot of content creators, you good people who view them, need to stop. A lot of you good people been poisoned by other content creators that poison your mind concerning me. You allowed them to poison your mind. You haven't judged the tree by the fruit. You let them use your emotions against you and turn you toxic. It's sick. Absolutely sick, guys. But this is what goes on, man. Absolutely sick. So guys, we're going to get up on out of here. I'll be back with more content. We're going to continue on with our investigation regarding Diddy, talk about various topics, and keep you posted on what's going on. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate everybody sponsoring the show, talking about the show, spreading the videos, telling people about the videos. If you haven't already, click the like button and subscribe if you like the content. Ringo TV Reactions. You know, we sit around complaining all day about where are the real black men that lead? Where are the real black men that speak truth? And then when truth is spoken, you don't support it. You know, I speak the most truth on YouTube. The most. I provide the best commentary. Nobody does a better job. But you folks that view, you don't support the work, man. You don't share the videos. You don't hit the like button. You don't tell nobody about the platform. Like, I don't know what is going on with folk nowadays, bro. And then when brothers switch their content up and reach other audiences, then you wondering what happened to them. Well, you don't support them. And if you don't support the work, it don't make no sense you do the work, because there's no benefit in it. Because the people look at it like it's a joke. So if I'm speaking truth regarding these issues and you're not supporting the work, then it don't make no sense to talk about it. Let the community burn. Forget it. Forget about the victims. Forget about who's suffering. Let it burn. Let's talk about stuff that makes no sense. Let's entertain you. Let's just entertain you. Let's just be a clown and entertain you in a circus, since that's what you want. Because you don't want to hear the truth about anything, because it makes you feel some type of way. Now you know why the churches are filled. It's because the church is entertainment. Because if the churches really spoke the truth, nobody would be there. Nobody would be there. The reason why churches are packed is because the preacher don't preach against sin. The preacher don't tell you about yourself. Because if he did, you would be offended and you would leave. People financially support churches because churches tickle their ears, tell them what they want to hear. If a pastor really told you the truth, you won't support that church with $1. Now you know why churches prosper. Peace and blessings, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Shout out to all the truckers. Shout out to V-Dub Man. I believe I seen you in the chat getting rid of a troll. Salute to you. Salute to everybody out there on the road. Make sure you drive safe. No road rage. Don't get pissed off with these people on the road, guys. I keep telling you, man, you have a lot of demons that be on the road doing their best to get you out of character, give you a bad drive, cut you off, nearly hit your car. Don't go off. Just get the license plate, have a dash cam, go through the proper channels of resolving your issues. Don't get out the car to go at somebody. Don't do it, because you don't know what they got in the car either. Just because you might be a tough guy doesn't mean there's not another tough guy in the car. You know, bullets don't have eyes. They just travel to destinations. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you stay safe, because you got to go back home to your family, to your kids. And if you don't got kids and you don't have no family, you got to stay alive long enough to have a family and to take care of your purpose and your business. Remember, you were all born to have a purpose. You were all born to get to a destination in life. You can't let nothing or the opposition stop you from getting there, because there is opposition that's coming against you. Every last one of you have something or someone or some entity or some force that was sent by the darkness to get in the way of where you're trying to go. But at the same time, the Most High also sent entities and opposition and other things to go against the enemy. So it's not a thing of, oh, everybody's coming at you, but also the Most High is working with you. There's things happening right around me that I'm seeing right before my eyes, and I know it's the Most High is doing. I know it's the Most High is doing. And I just kind of just let him do his thing, you know? So as long as you stay on the straight and narrow path and you stay within your peace, the enemy cannot come in to sabotage whatever it is you're trying to do, you know? So peace and blessings to the brothers and the sisters. Shout out to Floridine Rollo. I see you in the building. V-Dub Man, Brainwaves, all the ladies that are in the building. What's going on? All the brothers. Yeah, just stay positive, man. Take care of your kids. Do your job. Stay out of trouble. That's the message today. Peace and blessings. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Ringo TV Reactions. Salute you, fam. We out of here. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Ringo TV, the #1 reactionary channel on YouTube, hands down since 2006. Rate, comment, and subscribe. We out. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.